A 99% of dinosaurs fled. This one stood its ground. A meat Ankylosaurus, the ultimate armored tank of the Cretaceous. Its entire dorsal surface was a fortress of bone. But these dermal ossifications are called osteoderms, unique evolutionary armor. Crucially, this armor extended even over vulnerable areas. And even its eyes possessed small, protective bony shields. However, soft tissue still existed between these massive plates. Predators would need precise targeting to exploit these weak points. The absolute last line of defense was rolling into a near impenetrable wall. Its low, broad stance minimized exposure of the unprotected underbelly. And now that we understand the body armor, let's explore its weapon. But the tail terminus housed the famous, formidable tail club. This club was not simply cartilage, it was solid bone fusion. It was composed of several fused caudal vertebrae, reinforced by osteoderms. The power derived from massive hindquarters and strong pelvic girdles. But this weapon could be swung with surprising velocity and force. The impact energy was focused, capable of breaking large bones. It was the perfect countermeasure against gigantic theropods. You imagine a confrontation. The predator must navigate this defense system. But the Ankylosaurus could not outrun its pursuer. Defense was paramount. Its head was also heavily armored, though less flexible in defense. The arrangement varied slightly across different genera within the family. Predators likely targeted the flank, aiming for the gaps. And the Ankylosaurus profile was low, forcing the attacker into an awkward position. The tail club required significant range of motion, which was limited. Stability during the swing was maintained by 4 sturdy, splayed legs. The coverage was nearly 70% of the total body surface area. The neck itself was surprisingly inflexible, protected by a massive neutral shield. But each knob and plate was rooted in the skin, unlike modern crocodiles. Social behavior, if any, would involve presenting these armored flanks. And now that we understand the structure, let's explore its ecological niche. An Ankylosaurus thrived during the late Cretaceous period, alongside giants. And as a low browser, its diet consisted primarily of soft plants. But its small head relative to its body size suggests lower metabolic demands. And apex predators of the time faced a significant evolutionary hurdle. Attacking the flank or rear invited catastrophic injury to the attacker. This created an evolutionary arms race favoring armored resilience. Perhaps the best defense was simply being too tough to bother eating. Here, their feet were structured for slow, steady weight distribution, not speed. The overlapping arrangement ensured that every strike met bone, not flesh. But calculations suggest the club tip could reach speeds exceeding 30 kilometers per hour. But this required extreme flexibility in the proximal tail sections, contrasting the club's rigidity. The impact force was enough to potentially crush the leg bones of attackers. Even the underside, though softer, featured some protective scales near the pelvis. The Ankylosaurus was not an aggressive hunter, it was a defensive specialist. But its entire existence revolved around absorbing and deflecting kinetic energy. And along the sides, prominent spikes offered passive deterrence to flank attacks. Its overall body length made maneuverability inherently difficult. The practical arc for effective tail club use was approximately 90 degrees. Lacking offensive weaponry, its feet were for slow locomotion only. But the armor likely helped regulate body temperature, shedding heavy rain. Evolutionary pressure sculpted this creature into a nearly impenetrable fortress. Respiration must remain unimpeded, even when hunkered down fully. The density of the club bone rivals modern concrete structures. It moved with deliberation, conscious of the immense energy required to shift its bulk. The club was its ultimate statement: approach this creature at your own peril. But this defense strategy meant prioritizing survivability over speed or aggression. From its tiny eye shields to its massive tail, it was total protection. The Ankylosaurus remains a testament to extreme defensive specialization in nature. A true, living tank, engineered by deep time for absolute survival.